Yeah?
Yeah.
In welcoming Alex Vincent, actor, writer, sound designer, and of course, Andy from Child's Play. So, first question I gotta ask you. You wanna play Hide the Soul?
I definitely do not.
Couldn't hurt to ask. So, you were 6 years old
Yes.
when you made Child's Play, and you were living in New Jersey, far from Hollywood. What made you, at that age, decide that you wanted to get into acting?
There was a girl who lived down the street from me who did commercials. Her name was Sarah Maylett, and I was 5 years old, and I was a kind of outgoing, precocious kid. And I saw her on TV. I saw her in a commercial. Someone that I knew in person, I saw on the television. And I thought that was really, really cool. So I wanted to go try to get in a commercial, really was the only goal. And so my mother took me to her manager, and I started going on auditions in New York. And then I just got a film audition, so.
Yeah, how did you get involved with the Chucky auditions? For Child's Play.
How did I get involved? I just was auditioning for all kinds of things. So I auditioned for TV shows, commercials, print work, several films that were around then, and I just got callbacks and got the part.
And there were so many kids up for that part, but it came down to, I think, 3. You were one of them. Do you remember anything about the audition?
Yeah. So they flew me out to California to audition against 2 other kids, or 1 other kid, I'm not sure. My mother was there, and she was in the room with me for the audition, which was kind of a rare thing. Even as a kid, they'd send you in alone. But she was there, and I had to say the line, Aunt Maggie was a real bitch and got what she deserved. I had to say that in front of my mother, which I was not comfortable with. So when we got to that part, I froze up and I said, I don't remember the lines. And so they're like, all right, we'll start over. We got to that part and I froze again, and I got up and I ran out of the room and I locked myself in the bathroom. And I was crying my eyes out. I was like, I can't say that word in front of you. And she went and told them that's what happened. And I guess it was a combination of, I fooled them, I made them think that I couldn't remember the lines, and the innocence that I had at that age was kind of exactly what they were looking for Andy. So I think, you know, not saying bitch helped.
It's Chucky who says bitch a lot.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Says a lot of things a lot.
I really love it how at 6 you knew not only your lines but everybody else's lines too.
That's true.
How much do you remember about preparing for the role?
I remember that I had the first script in like a leather-bound, like brown leather-bound binder, and I just remember reading it over and over and over again, like learning those words and learning, you know, not just the curse words, which were fun to learn, I guess, but yeah, no, I knew everyone's line to the point where if, you know, Catherine Hicks said something a little differently, I'd be like, no, that's not how the line goes. And then I had everything memorized, and they went and did revisions, and I was devastated because I didn't know that was gonna happen.
What was it like working with Tom Holland?
Tom really knew what he wanted. He was a great director, honestly. I mean, he got what he wanted out of me. It was challenging at times. He had a difficult job, I think, on that film.
One of the scenes that you're absolutely incredible in, I mean, you're incredible through the whole movie. You in your little puffy jacket carrying Chucky around is the most amazing thing. But the scene where you're crying, I mean, that's some Oscar tier kid acting there.
Thanks.
I've heard like different stories, and one of them is that Tom Holland was shouting at you and saying your parents are getting divorced. Is any of that true?
That's pretty true, yeah. Yeah. But, you know, my perspective of it is actually a little different. I never remember a time in my life where I felt like that didn't go okay that day. I was very proud of what we did, even right after we did it. I knew I understood that the goal was to make the audience really scared and sad for Auntie, and scared maybe for themselves. So selling that, whatever it took me to get there, I was kind of comfortable with doing. Like I knew that, I kind of dreaded that scene. I knew what page it was on. I was anxious about filming it. So when he was yelling, that was kind of okay with me in my memory. And I also remember that they ran out of tape while I was crying, and they had to make a tape change, which takes like 15 minutes. And I was like, it's okay, I'll keep crying.
Your acting coach, Margaret Pollock, she was a very big part of that experience for you. Did she help a lot with preparing you and getting in this place?
Absolutely. Margaret was essential in helping me understand what this all was about and understand acting. She was essential to helping my mother understand what this world is like in Hollywood, because we didn't really know. We didn't have friends that were actors. We didn't know anything like that. So the acting coach that they gave me turned out to be a lifelong friend. She's my manager now, and yeah, we have a 35-year relationship working on Auntie Barkley together.
Now I know you're not afraid of Chucky, but were your parents afraid for you being in this movie?
No, they really weren't. I had the personality to comfort them that I wouldn't be afraid. Like, I wasn't really a very easily frightened kid, and I was pretty smart for my age. So, no, I think there were certain things they didn't want me to see, like blood and guts and gore and stuff like that. So they did try to shield that from me the best they could, and they did a pretty good job of that. Like, if I'm not in frame with something gory, I probably didn't see it,
So 2 years later, you're back for Child's Play 2, and you're really the only returning actor aside from Brad Dourif doing The Boys. New director and everything. What was that like, and how did the two experiences compare?
Well, I was older. First of all, the difference between 6 and 8 is pretty substantial in like your ability to know what's going on, and remember things. My memories are stronger from part 2. It was also, it was new people. Catherine wasn't there, which felt like an anchor that was missing, but I had Margaret still. And then I met Don and Christine, and they were both just so great from the start.
Your relationship with Kyle, Christine Elise's character in the film, is really cool. Was that similar to how you and Christine were off camera?
Yeah, we weren't as close then as we are now. She likes to joke. I'll steal her joke. She probably told it here last year, but it's a good one. We were friends, but it wasn't like she was calling me afterwards, like, hi, it's Al, She was 24, I was 8. Can Alex come to the phone? It wasn't like that. But we were close on set. She was fun. So was Dawn. Dawn had a camcorder and was filming everything. Because it's interesting, there's a writer's strike going on now, which many of you know of. There was a writer's strike then on Child's Play 1. So Don Mancini was not allowed on set at all. We're not able to be on set at all for the first film. So for the second, he was. So him being there made it super fun. And John LaFia was a really sweet guy and fun to work with. And it was on the back lot of Universal Studios, right when they were filming Back to the Future 2 and 3.
Oh yeah.
And I was a huge Back to the Future fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to like walk through those sets and have lunch with Michael J. Fox in his trailer when I was 8.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's been all downhill since.
The car still existed. I saw it 2 years ago. It's in Seattle. I meet the owner several times.
Of what?
The car from the Back to the Future.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
still existed.
Yeah, I got to sit in it. I got to
Me
sit in
too.
it once.
That's,
Yes.
3-4 times. It's in Seattle.
Right.
If you put your mind to it, you could accomplish anything.
Well, my brother tells me a story. Quick second. Like back in 1990 or whatever it was, we were on the back lot tour of Universal Studios, going on the tram tour, and we went through the whole Back to the Future 2 set. I don't remember it because I was too young, but my oldest brother, like, we love Back to the Future, so he was
Universal Studios is like an incredibly cool place. So
It
to be able
is.
to work there when I was 8 years old was really exciting.
Like a big playground.
Sure.
Well, I'm the same age as Andy, as you. So as a kid, Andy was my hero. He was like this cool little badass and kind of cute. I mean, I was 6'2", so it's not weird. So yeah, you were a big deal to me and a lot of other kids in the 80s. So obviously, at school, you were the coolest kid there, right?
No. No, definitely not.
Yes, Chucky.
Yeah, well, Chucky's always cool. I mean,
Yes, Chucky.
he's the boss. No, yeah, it was not exactly like that. It was the 80s, first of all. Kids didn't see R-rated horror films as often. Some did, but like the kids that I went to school with really did not. So they didn't really understand. They kind of projected like some stuff on me from my perspective. But I wasn't the coolest kid, but I wasn't the least cool kid either. So.
How many of them knew that you had done Child's Play?
They all did.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, some understood it better. Some saw the film. But, yeah, of course they all knew.
So we need to talk about Child's Play 3.
Okay,
How did you feel about being recast?
not good. I was a 10-year-old. I was disappointed. Yeah.
I've always kind of wanted to know, being that you're a real creative type, you're a writer, did you ever have your own idea for like a different Child's Play 3?
No, not really. Not any more than like silly little ideas. I give Don all the credit. I don't really try. I might rewrite some of his lines for Andy sometimes with his help. Like I do insert myself a little bit, like, and he's very kind in letting me do that. But as far as like plot things for the story of the whole Chucky franchise, I never really spent any time thinking about a different way to do anything.
Have you ever met Justin Whalen?
Never, no.
No.
No, I'd
What
like
happened
to.
that guy?
I don't know.
Yeah, either. So after Child's Play 3, you took kind of a break from acting.
Mhm.
And then you came back, I think, in 2008. What brought you back into acting, and what was the reason for taking a break to begin with?
Yeah, when I was like 12, I had been auditioning in New York City 3 or 4 times a week for like a lot of my childhood. That wasn't really fun anymore. I wanted to play baseball, hang out with my friends, do normal things. There were things about Hollywood that I just didn't really like. There were things, you know, when you're a kid, it's one thing. Then you start to get something called insecurity, which you get around 11, 12. And that combined with, I don't know, the experience of not being in part 3 kind of was sad for me. My family's struggles with me being in show business, there were just a lot of reasons, honestly, why it didn't seem fun for me. I mean, it's been 25 years since then or whatever, 35 years. And I still don't really audition. I've been on like 3 auditions in the past 30 years. I don't know.
And then you studied sound engineering
Yeah.
at Full Sail
That I
University.
enjoy. I enjoy sound and music, and I went to school for audio and Full
What
Sail.
sparked your interest in that?
I don't know. I love music, but I spent my childhood like auditioning for things and not spending enough time learning instruments. So I wanted to get good at the engineering side of it to make other musicians sound really good.
And you're a big Nine Inch Nails fan too, right?
I am.
You saw how many concerts last year?
Plenty.
Talk about some of your work doing sound engineering and composing.
Yeah, I've done sound design for several like independent horror films. Not just horror, but several films actually. It's like sound mixing, ADR stuff, sound effects, composing, scoring. Yeah, I'm about to work on a new one, a film called Sorority of the Damned. That will be fun. Good sound design, monster noises and shit. So yeah.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell just did some sound design on Evil Dead Rise, eating an apple. So yeah, I think you can tell someone to hold your beer on that one and tackle it. So then you came back and you did that awesome stinger in Curse of Chucky, which I think
Yes.
every Child's Play fan just got up and cheered. It was the coolest. How did you come back into the franchise?
Don Mancini and I reconnected a couple years before that through, I don't know whether it was MySpace. I don't remember where the first connection was. Something like that. But got his phone number and kind of just started to get to know him a little bit. And then when Curse of Chucky came around, he, really liked the idea of bringing Andy back, and he had faith in me and that I can do it as an actor. And yeah, it was super fun. We shot that in just one day in Winnipeg, and I had to keep it a secret for a year. And yeah, it was really fun. It was supposed to be the last scene of the film originally, and it got pushed till after the credits. And then it got pushed onto the unrated version only. And then they put the rated version only on Netflix. So big Chucky fans saw it.
I just bought it.
Yeah.
How cathartic was it to finally shoot Chucky?
Oh, it always feels good to shoot Chucky.
And then torture him in Cult?
That's between he and I.
So there's a really fun scene. So you come back and you do Cult of Chucky. There's a really fun scene of that. One of my favorite scenes of yours at all, where you're on a date with a redhead, by the way. What's up with that? You're on a date and you're
Andy's got issues.
you're just trying to have a nice time, and then you realize about halfway through that she's Googled you.
Yeah.
Is that at all?
Sounds like my real life.
Have you had experiences like that where you think, maybe these aren't hard people, maybe they don't know?
Yeah, I would say more like I've had experiences where I meet people that don't know that, and I spend whatever if it's in a professional setting or something, or whatever, someone I've known for like 6-7 months and then tell them that. That's kind of fun sometimes.
So Cult of Chucky, you had a much bigger role. There goes my knife. You have a much bigger role, and you get to do all these, fun things now as an adult, and you're a very different character than you were as a child. So, how do you relate to the character? Do you see a lot of yourself in Andy?
Sure, I do. Yeah, Chucky's been in Andy's psyche since he was 6 years old, one way or another. That's the same for me. I grew up very much with him over my shoulder, metaphorically, one way or another. So, yeah, I can relate. I can relate to Andy in a lot of ways.
I think one of the really endearing things about this franchise, and certainly something I really appreciate, is everybody involved in this seems so passionate about it behind the scenes, like Don Mancini and Jennifer Tilly, and you're a part of that. What is that behind the scenes family like?
Well, it's important to all of us, I guess. When it's been in your life that long, it's decades for everybody involved. Some of us up to 3 decades. So yeah, of course it's important to us. Many of us have met thousands and thousands of Chucky fans, so we know it's important to you. And that makes our bonds a little bit stronger. And we're also just, Don works with good people, and he picks people that are smart and funny.
He works with good guys?
He is a good guy. I try to be.
You mentioned the Chucky fans, so what is it like meeting Chucky fans? Are they different online as opposed to like conventions?
Everyone's different online. No, the truth is you guys are great. I started doing conventions in like 2002, 11 years before I was back involved in the franchise. It's gotten a little bigger and bigger for me throughout the past couple years with the TV series, but I've been traveling and meeting people all over this country, about 7 or 8 other countries, for over 20 years now. I've met hundreds and thousands. of Chucky fans. And yeah, you guys are the best. We're very, very thankful, and it's never lost on us the gratitude that we should have and do have for the fact that Chucky is connected with so many people all over this world. It makes what we do at least feel important.
I have to ask, what is the question you get asked the most by fans?
Did you have nightmares? Were you afraid? You know, did Chucky fuck you up? Basically is what they're asking.
And the answer to that is?
I never had nightmares.
You started working on the TV series, which we got to see a whole bunch of different sides to Andy. I kind of like the long-haired, disheveled Andy. What's working on the series like?
It's been great. It's been really fun. Yeah, the time that you spend, first of all, with people that you've known for a long time is awesome, like we were saying. But also the new cast. I mean, these kids are really, really talented.
Great.
The crew is incredibly talented. And it's TV, so it's a much longer experience. It's more fast-paced than a film. Some films are rushed a bit, but in general, it's like I was there 2.5 months, the past 2 summers. It was a great experience. It was a lot of fun.
Does that include working with the doll? Because I've heard he's a little bit of a diva.
He kind of does his job when he's around me.
You gotta make sure that Chucky looks right in the take. So
Yeah.
as an actor, you don't get like that extra take or anything for yourself.
Yeah, what happens kind of is that there's puppeteers moving the doll, and they'll if you're sharing the screen with him, they're really focusing on when the puppet looks just exactly right, and when Chucky's performance is great. And that could take several tries sometimes. So when it happens, that's the take they're keeping. You know, so you kind of have to give a good performance each time, because you never know when the doll's gonna nail it. You can't really just say, I'd like to do it better. He's my boss, I told you.
Which brings me to another question. I've heard Chucky's relationships with people described in so many ways. There's a documentary where she's like, he's my little brother. And Don Mancini refers to him as his child. For you, is he friend of the end or your nemesis?
Do we have a couch here for me to lay on? He's both, you know? ¿Por qué no dos? It's a love-hate relationship. But no, I mean, he's my friend till the end. He is. We talk a lot of shit about each other, but we need each other.
He's staring at you.
Yeah.
So if Chucky were to get into it with Megan, you'd still take his side?
Well, of course.
All right, respect. Talk about Chucky Talks. It's a really fun podcast that you were doing.
Yeah, we did it for the first season. It was just Christine and I. Wasn't like sponsored by anybody or the production of the show had nothing to do with it. But we just did it for fun, and we interviewed a bunch of people from the first season. And it was really fun because it was, we've known Jennifer Tilly and like Brad Dourif, for example, for years and years and years, but you don't get to ask him these kind of questions at dinner. So I got to really interview him about his career and stuff, and that was really cool. And the same goes for everybody that we talked to. And we also did some like breakdowns about the show. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work, and it ran its course.
I really hope it comes back.
Well, maybe an interview or two, but I don't think we'll do a whole season again.
I also know you're a big wrestling fan. Were
That's
you
not
excited?
exactly true.
Well, you met Saraya.
I met Saraya, yeah. I grew up a wrestling fan. I grew up in the 80s, so of course back then everybody was a wrestling fan. I've met a lot of wrestlers from doing conventions. I respect wrestling. I haven't watched it in over a decade, so I can't really say I'm a big wrestling fan.
is if you met Liv Morgan when she was on
I did.
Chucky.
I did. She is a big Chucky fan, and I'm a big fan of hers because she's very sweet, and I thought her scene was great. Yeah, I appreciate wrestling a lot. It was a big part of my childhood.
What is your favorite scene from Chucky, one that you've been in or otherwise?
Anytime I get to fuck up the doll. Smoking a joint with him was pretty fun too.
Another question I have to ask you is, what were your feelings about the reboot, or did you have any?
I don't have feelings. I didn't see it.
It's something I asked Christine and Lisa about last year, just because it could have so easily jeopardized the series. So.
Yeah, I mean, what she's referring to is the fact that that came out from MGM while we were still trying to get our TV series on the air. So it, to us at the time, felt like it was an obstacle that maybe would make getting the TV series less likely. So that was really the issue with it, you know. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I don't, you know,
You're not
I don't have any
missing
animosity towards it, honestly, because we got the TV series, and I think it's been great. But yeah, there was just, I guess, you know, some feelings involved, I suppose.
I have feelings. It's for another day. So your ending on season 2 was so cool. It was kind of reflected back to the end of Child's Play 2 with Kyle, the way you guys are walking away together, and you look a lot more worse for wear this time around.
Yeah.
It was really beautiful. Is this the last we're gonna see of Andy?
I don't know. If I do know, I'm not gonna tell you. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I could say season 3 is coming in the fall. If you saw how season 2 ended, there's a lot going on in general. So season 3 is going to be a lot of fun. What I know about it is really exciting. As far as Andy's involvement, I don't know. Maybe.
What else are you working on now?
I own a recording studio, so I'm always working with different musicians, artists, rappers, bands. So I have a handful of projects that I'm working on right there, and then I'm probably going to be doing the sound design for this other film coming up. I have conventions that I'm doing, and yeah.
Yeah, your studio's AV Productions, right?
AV Productions, it's kind of been rebranded The Loop Studios. If you follow me on Instagram, all that stuff is on there.
What does this franchise mean to you? I mean, it's been such a huge part of your life.
What it means to me is two things, I guess. Number one, being a part of really excellent storytelling as someone who takes a creative side to life. That is incredibly gratifying and rewarding. And what it means to me other than that is just like friends and family. I mean, it's been my whole life. I've made so many friends because of it. The people that work on it with me, we all feel like family. So yeah, that's really what it means, is kind of a bond between people in my life.
What relationships throughout this franchise have really stood out to you?
Well, Christine and I are like best friends. Don is like a mentor, incredible older brother, I guess. Catherine was like a mother to me. I could continue to name a lot of them. Jennifer has become a really great friend. Fiona is a really great friend. So yeah, I don't know.
Did you spend a lot of time with Catherine Hicks in the first movie?
I did. Yeah, she never played a mother before at that point, which is interesting because she became a TV mother after that, and a real mother after that, from the man that she met making Child's Play. But yeah, she never played a mother, so we took some extra time to get close to try to have that bond to show in the film, and I think it was worth it. I think it came out that way.
What about your mother in the second film, Jenny Agutter?
She didn't spend much time with us, honestly. I didn't know her much at all. But I also say that that worked too, because this was a foster situation. Andy didn't feel like he was really totally welcome there. They didn't seem like they really wanted him there. So it kind of worked.
And Don Mancini, you didn't see him as much when you were a kid, but you've got to work with him a lot now.
I have, yeah. Yeah. Don is a very, very important person to me, someone who I'm endlessly thankful to for having faith in me. And yeah, he's a brilliant guy and a very important person in my life.
Okay, so entire Chucky franchise, what is your favorite kill?
I think Bree's death in season 1 was my favorite of all of them. The way she smashed through that glass right in front of her son's face, I thought was pretty remarkable. I thought it was shot really beautifully. Then again, the chainsaw death at the end of season 2 was pretty spectacular.
That was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Are you a big horror fan? Are you kind of a horror fan?
I'm kind of a
Do you
horror
like
fan.
horror movies?
I don't dislike horror movies. I hesitated there just because I've been doing these conventions for so long. I have so many friends that are horror actors. I do enjoy and appreciate horror films. I don't usually I don't go out and see all the newest ones. Yeah, I appreciate the genre. I'm more of a comedy guy, honestly, or like dramatic series.
What's your favorite movie? Doesn't have to be a scary one.
If I had to narrow it down to one, I would say The Crow.
Oh, that's such a good movie. And they're making a new one.
Yes, I heard.
What would be your dream role to get involved in? Would you want to be in like the Crow series?
I'd like to be on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Love that show.
You could perfectly be Charlie Day's brother. I'm seeing it now. Oh my gosh.
I don't know if I could get my voice that high, but
That's awesome. So Sunny's one of your favorite shows. Do you have any others?
it is. Yeah, I have a lot.
Workaholics.
Yeah, that's not one of them.
That is one of them.
What's something that you don't get asked a lot at conventions and stuff that you'd like to talk about?
Oh, nothing really. I mean, I get asked all kinds of things, and sometimes it's a lot of the same things, of course, but I hear new things from people all the time, and I don't know. I don't really have an answer for that.
What's the weirdest thing anyone's ever asked you?
It's probably stuff that I shouldn't repeat.
All right, let's open it up to you guys. Do you guys have any questions that you want to ask?
Yes.
I saw in America, I'm from Germany, I came with, as adult here, so I saw the Chucky the Bride. So who came the idea up and how you feel that as she got all the attention from Chucky and you would say Chucky is your boss. By the way, I buy your banner with your signature.
You what?
I buy from next year your banner.
Oh, the banner. Oh, you got my banner? Oh, thank you.
Yeah. How you feel that?
Well, Jennifer Tilly steals the show everywhere she goes. That's fine. We're all fine with that.
Who came up
That's
with
no
this?
problem.
It's-
Don Mancini did.
He came with this up?
Yeah.
I saw this in Germany. In Germany, I saw not a little von them. That was not often.
Yeah.
And how he had the experiments in Germany. In Germany, a lot of kids been scaring Chucky up to date. The adult not so much. So how you had your experiment in my country with Chucky? What you say, you go around in the world?
I've been to Germany. I've signed autographs in Germany like 5 or 6 times in my life.
I've
Yeah.
been from Mannheim. I'm a skipper, so I don't know what
Yeah.
the city is in.
Braunschweig, Essen.
Essen, yeah, they're open for some this stuff, yeah. I've been all over in
Sorry,
Germany
excuse
and
me.
drove 1,000-ton ships. So.
Well, thank you.
I just wanted to know, with respect to your being a child actor, how do you feel about all of your tiny horror fans who have seen Andy kick colossal ass and grow up more or less okay?
Yeah.
Is it shocking?
I worry for their souls. No, I don't. I'm kidding. No, Chucky is really admired by children. That's kind of the idea. That was the concept. It's as effective as it's supposed to be, and yeah, I mean, most of you guys in this room, by the way, were kids that like Chucky. So, yeah.
Like I told you before, Chucky was the first Child's Play was the first horror movie I ever saw.
Yeah.
And my parents accidentally rented it for us and put us in a den, and that was the first movie we ever saw.
Me too. I saw
Yeah.
it first.
And then when the show came out, I was like, there's no way this is gonna be good. And then the show just blew me away. I mean, the show was just absolutely amazing. Like, you're great. All the young cast were great. I love how the two guys are gay, the two young kids, like just switching it up, for modern day, I think it's just beautiful. And
Well,
all
thank
the
you.
kills are amazing. Like, everything is just, it's phenomenal.
We
His
appreciate it.
personality was really great for 6 year and for 8
Yeah.
year. He had a really great personality. I liked it that. I liked it not the cat face, but I liked it the way the acting you on your personality with your 6 year, how you ended you. But I was a little 6 year. I played Shirley Temple in Germany.
Oh, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Have you heard Fiona's impression of you from the first film?
I don't think so. No.
You haven't heard it? She does it in the documentary where she's like,
Really?
Shaggy wants to watch the Nine
Yeah.
and a Half Years.
All you have to do to impersonate Andy from the first film is just speak in syllables. Everything else. Chucky's gone.
Can you do an Andy Child's Play impression?
I just did.
Yeah.
Who's better at having the Chucky persona, Brad or Fiona?
Who's a better Charles Lee Ray? At this point, you're asking? I can't answer that question. I think, I don't know. That's a question for their panel. I think they both did absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, Brad is Chucky, has been since both Fiona and I were children. We're the same age. But I think that was an incredible opportunity for Fiona to do that. I think it must have been very gratifying, honestly. And she did, you all know what a phenomenal job she did as Charles Lee Ray. So very, very proud of her. And it was great.
Is there any particular soundscapes you've done that you're overly proud of?
There were the film that we did, House Guest. I enjoyed the scoring that I did for that. The film didn't come out all that great. I think for a lot of reasons. Our budget was like $500, so that's part of it. But no, I do like the sound that I did for that. I like some of the sound that I did for a film called Frostbite. It was about zombies in Alaska.
You've done actually a lot of other movies outside of Child's Play. What is one that you would really like more people to check out?
To see? A film called Wait Till Spring Bandini that I filmed in 1989 with Joe Mantegna and Faye Dunaway and Ornella Muti, who's an Italian actress. It's a really, really good film. It's based on a novel,
right?
Yeah.
So you were getting it pretty rough in the series, and I was just wondering if you were to be killed by Chucky, how would you like to go out?
I don't know. Stay tuned.
Would you be down for being possessed by Chucky, like how Fiona had to?
No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. Maybe if I got to do it very briefly, like Devin Sawa did. I don't want a whole film with that.
Do you think we're gonna get more, for lack of a better word, hobo Andy with the long hair, the beautiful locks?
I think it's Jesus, Andy.
Oh, Jesus! I love that.
I don't know. I don't think so. I hope not, for his sake.
Do you think Jesus Andy is like the most enlightened Andy of the franchise?
I don't know. I mean, how would you feel if you spent a year in a cabin that looks like your own personal hell, surrounded by your own personal demon, and being fed on and fed to?
You've had so many badass moments as Andy. I love the one in the series where you have like that Pulp Fiction moment with Christine.
Yeah.
What is your like most badass, awesome, favorite Andy moment?
I liked the torturing scene of him at the beginning of Cult a lot. I liked stomping his face in at the end of Cult and pulling a gun on Nika Chucky. I like that moment a lot. Driving off the cliff was fun.
With all the Chuckies?
Yeah, I never killed more at one time.
Most badass, dude.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Chucky? Because you've got so many now. Buff Chucky, Buzz Cut Chucky.
Of the new Chuckies, I mean, I guess honestly, my favorite to watch was Good Chucky.
Oh, that was great. That was.
Yeah, I mean, so he was my favorite, but there's no such thing as Good Chucky, so it didn't really count. Yeah.
Over here.
I think it was you.
Oh, it's me? Okay. Besides Chucky, which actor or actress would you like to work with in the future if you're doing like movies and stuff?
Oh boy. Well, I'm a huge fan of Michael C. Hall's. I'm a huge fan of Kiefer Sutherland's. Yeah, the whole Sunny crew, for sure.
I have to see you on that show now.
Yeah, that would be fun.
It needs to happen.
I was just curious what, since you mentioned Faye Dunaway was like, or if you had any anecdotes, just because she's got the reputation that's, you know.
Yeah, not really, because she was my character's father's mistress,
Oh,
so we didn't really share scenes.
gotcha.
She was there, I think we met, like, maybe once briefly. But Joe Mantegna really was the one that I had a connection with on that set, and a couple of the kids that played my brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have you ever been mistaken for any other celebrities?
Sort of. There are times where people think that I was a kid from another thing, like I loved you in The Shining. I wasn't even alive yet. Yes.
How do you feel about Don Mancini putting those short jokes in the Chucky series?
It's funny, you know, nobody really gave me shit about being short most of my life until Chucky says something, and now it's all I hear. So don't listen to him when he says mean things.
I have another one about your musical interest. Do you trace your love of music and engineering it to your love of The Crow? Like, because there's a
Oh, the soundtrack of that was great. I was already a Nine Inch Nails fan when I saw that film, but the soundtrack is phenomenal for that movie. No, you know, I was in bands when I was a kid. I played saxophone and I played piano. I've always been interested in music from the beginning. I just never got really excellent as an instrumentalist. So no, music's been a part of my life since I was very, very young.
Do you enjoy working behind the camera more, doing the sound design, or being in front of the camera?
I enjoy writing probably the most. I enjoy the music side, of, the engineering side of audio, and I enjoy acting.
You're also a poet.
I didn't know it.
He's a poet.
You do a lot of writing, and there's some of your poems on your website, right?
Yeah, I just released my 6th poetry book called Letting Go. It's on my website.
I write poem unexpected. So I can give you one short. Tomorrow. I will see you say tomorrow. There is some time not tomorrow. Say today. Tomorrow is too late.
Hey, very good.
Where can we find your books?
If you just go to, everyone has Instagram, right? Go to the link in my bio on Instagram. You can find my Patreon, which I put all kinds of fun stuff on. You can find all the podcasts that we've done. You can find stuff from my recording studio. You can go to my store online. You can, yeah, all that stuff.
I mean, you have
All
so
the
many,
things.
so many interests. Like, did we cover that? You're a poet. You do sound design. You've been in bands. You're an actor. Is there something else that we missed?
No. I'm
How
pretty.
many instruments can you play?
Like I play like a couple terribly. That's
You
why
sing?
I'm more of an engineer. No, I can't really sing. I don't know, a little.
Yeah. I won't make you sing.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I can't dance all that well either.
Really? Or maybe if you did, you could get on Sunny.
Why, I have to dance now?
Well, if you danced and it was really funny, they might like it.
We'll see.
And I'm like,
I will.
the shirt.
I
it's
will
more-
dance for them. Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
The shirt's kind of reminding me of Charlie Day and stuff too. Like, it needs to happen. Way in the back there.
We're on the subject. Who would win in a wrestling match? You or the trash man?
I think Frank would win that one. Trash man. Throw me in the trash.
I made one of you guys now, I forgot his name. He lost his ear. He speaks with me in German some 3 years ago. He lost the ear by the wrestling. I forgot his name. I met him several times.
Okay.
He's still in Germany.
Let's get your question over here.
It's out the 80s. I
Yeah.
have a picture here in my book.
Very cool.
Out of the newer cast of the Chucky series, would you say you have a member that like you're more fond of, more like a stable cast member?
I like all of them, honestly. I mean, as people, I really have enjoyed everyone that I worked with, all of them. I mean, Zach is great, Bjorgvin, Ali, Teo, Bella, Karina, Jacob. They're all really fun. I will tell you that my favorite new character is Lexi.
She is super cute. As their kids now too, they're facing exactly what Andy had to. Have you had to mentor them in finding Chucky?
Yeah, I tell them to stop thinking about this stuff. Just stop, just pretend Chucky's dead.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Was it fun working with Devin Sawa?
Yeah, Devin's great. He's a really nice guy, kind. Hanging out with him was fun. Our scenes together were really fun. We only had a couple, but I really enjoyed them. The confession scene was interesting because I really couldn't see him. Yeah, Devin was great. He was great on the show.
You also mentioned earlier that you kind of ad-libbed some lines and brought some of your own creativity to it. What's a Alex Vincent creative line from Chucky?
I have a couple. You're not as cute as I thought you'd be. When I say that to Tiffany, I wrote that line. Season 2, when Lexi says, "and a toothbrush," I wrote that line. The confession scene, I kind of changed the lines too. Yeah, there's a few.
Have they ever made an Andy doll or tried?
No, not officially. Not officially.
An action figure with
Yeah.
all weapons. That's right.
Yeah, no official ones, but I've customized or people have made.
I have
cool
seen
ones.
you in the good guy overalls and stuff.
Yeah.
You still try to make breakfast for your mom?
It's been a long time.
Yeah. Way in the back.
We kind of have this ongoing bit about how Chucky looks ridiculous when he runs, and it's just funny. So if you wanted to know if it's ever hard to stay in character and not laugh when you see him like awkwardly shuffling across back and forth.
No, he's never made me break, actually. I'm surprised, but no, but there's definitely shots like that. A lot of that stuff I'm not really there for, and usually it's a person when you see the doll running. But no, I know there's been some funny shots, especially in the show.
Is there anybody who does make you break character just because they're so funny or just so good?
No, not so much playing Chucky. No, my scenes are kind of the more serious of the whole show. It seems. So no, that hasn't happened too much.
I would like to propose another Andy figure. We need a Jesus Andy figure.
That would be
in
awesome.
Like a robe.
Yeah.
You can put it on your mantle, pray to it.
Alex, what is your favorite Nine Inch Nails song?
Oh, good question.
It's a good question, but it's one without an answer. There's too many.
Favorite album?
There's too many. The Fragile.
He's so good. He remembered Trent Reznor's birthday. Like, he knows his Nine Inch Nails. Anybody else?
Outside of Nine Inch Nails, what's your favorite Trent Reznor composition?
Well, The Social Network I thought was all like maybe my favorite score of his. I liked all of them to a certain extent. I love the work that he did for Soul and Mank and Social Network. Probably my favorites.
Have you ever had an opportunity to meet him?
Yeah,
What was that like?
it was fun. It was
Did
great.
you know who you were?
Yeah.
Is he a Chucky fan?
No. No, I would say probably not.
You had to have a flaw. You had to have a flaw.
I don't know if he's a Chucky fan. We didn't get to that topic.
Oh, you need to meet him again and bring it up. I only trust Chucky fans. Did anyone else have a question? We're gonna wrap it up here pretty soon.
Yeah, let's take two more.
Your close friends ever try to pitch ideas to you for these movies?
Now, my close friends don't really talk about Chucky much at all with me, honestly. I don't know why. They're just like, it's been in my life forever, so they're like, yeah, enough with Chucky. But people do all the time, yeah. People try to pitch things, for sure.
One more question.
Other than poetry, do you write anything else, like short stories?
I've written screenplays. I've written several. I wrote that film, House Guest. I've written maybe 6 or 7 other screenplays that I just haven't gotten made yet. Getting funding for films is very difficult, so I haven't really followed through with it. You have to really commit, like, 2 years of your life or more to making a film, and I haven't actually pulled the trigger on that, on some of these scripts, and I haven't really sold them. But I have also a shitload of ideas that I will someday stop traveling around so much and work on this stuff more.
Well, thank you so much, Alex.
Thank you
for joining
guys
us.
for coming. I hope you had fun. I think it's time to go to the bar and get yourself a drink and enjoy yourselves this weekend. Okay? Thank you. All right.